Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to color a little bit in Maria Troll's Nightfall. I just felt like coloring a butterfly, and what better book to do that in than this book. There are tons of butterflies, flowers, and all kinds of things like that in this book. The book has wonderful paper, and I am going to be coloring with my Crayolas because it has been so highly requested that I color with the Crayola colored pencils. So we're going to take a look at the Crayola colored pencils today as we color in this book. I have been testing these pencils out over the last several days. I had a video that I posted, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, where I showed you how I put all of my pencils into perfect color family and then color order, and I did that in the case. And so now that they are all in order, I am ready to color with them on camera. The paper in this book has a little bit of tooth, and so I have found that the Crayola pencils work much better when you're using paper that has a little bit of tooth. The other pencils that work very, very well in these books are the Arteza pencils. I love how my Arteza pencils work in this book. I always have in my previous videos where I've done my adult coloring for beginners series, which this video is going to be part of that series, but I have used this book, Nightfall, quite a bit, and I've always used budget-friendly pencils because when we are beginners, I want you guys to always know or realize that you don't have to run out and buy the really expensive pencils. You don't have to have them. So I'm going to show you that today. I have come up with a color combination that I really, really love, and we are going to color this butterfly here up in the corner, and I'm going to show you how those colors come together. If you don't get the 120 set of Crayolas for any other reason other than some of the colors that are included in this set, I'm going to show you that today. But there are some beautiful neon colors, some beautiful brights, and if you don't buy this set for any other reason other than that, it is completely worth the $22 or whatever it is to purchase this set just to get those colors. And you can mix these colors with your Prismacolors if you have the Prismacolor set, and they do work beautifully together. If you have a set of Crayolas and you want to follow along, even a smaller set or another budget-friendly set that you want to grab, go ahead and get that out, because I would love for all of you to follow along with me while I color this butterfly. This video is going to be a tutorial, just as with most all of my other videos that you find on my channel. It is going to be part of my adult coloring for beginners series, so I would love if all of you could just follow along. If you enjoy videos like this, please do make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn your bell notifications on. If you check the description box down below, you will find links for my Facebook group. Please do join us there, as well as my email list. And you can also, if you wanted to support me on Patreon, I appreciate all of you. Let's go ahead and get into this video. Let's go ahead and first talk about the colors that I'm using, that I've put together, because you guys know I am all about color combinations and creating new ones and putting colors together that look absolutely amazing and are just so fun to color with. So I have these pencils here. This one is called Raspberry. This one is just the actual red, so it just says red. This is our one true red in the Crayola set. I will say that the Crayola set doesn't have a whole lot of true reds. It has this one, and then all of the other reds will have more pink in them and orange. And then we have this Fiery Rose. This color, when I tell you this color is amazing, this color is so amazing. And then this one here is called Atomic Tangerine. I love the names on these pencils. This color here is going to be my absolute favorite highlight color out of this set. But these colors look really beautiful together, and I'm going to show you how they come together on this butterfly here. I already have nice sharp leads. I used my Doll 133 to make sure my leads were nice and sharp. I do want to say, if you are using the Doll 133 to sharpen your Crayola pencils, you will notice when you're sharpening that the wood is much harder on these pencils because of course they are a budget-friendly pencil, and you're going to find that with your more budget-friendly pencils, it's not going to feel the same in your sharpener as when you are sharpening something like a Prismacolor or any other more expensive artist grade pencil. So what I like to do when I'm coloring with my Crayolas is I like to come in with my darkest color first, and in this case it's going to be my raspberry. So I'm just going to come here on the outside, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this. And when you're using these, don't push hard on the paper, because this paper is toothy, but it's kind of, I would say, a medium tooth. It's not really, really toothy, but it's just enough to be able to pick up the pigment from the pencils. But as you can see, I'm going in a circular motion. Now look how these blend. For a budget-friendly pencil, that is pretty amazing. And I'm using very light pressure so that I don't damage the tooth of the paper yet. Then I'm going to come in with my brightest color, and I'm going to add a little bit of that in here. And I'm kind of going over my previous colors as well. And then I'm going to come in here and add just a little bit of it as well. Then I'm going to come in with my Atomic Tangerine. Y'all, look at this color. So pretty. Look at what it does to these other colors. I do not have another set, even artist grade, that has a color such as this. If you were buying the Crayolas, honestly, for no other reason, rather than just to get the colors that come in the set, that is total reason to spend the few dollars that these cost. Like, I got a whole 120 pencils for a little over $20. You cannot beat that price. I'm coming back in and going over with the second layer. Now, because they are budget-friendly pencils and they're Crayolas, you will notice that you're not going to be able to get as many layers down on the paper. So make sure when you lay your colors down, you're putting them exactly where you want them. I have noticed with these pencils that the reds lay down very nicely, and the neon colors also lay down very nicely, and some of the blues I have found to be a little bit more scratchy. But these that I'm using here, they are pretty soft for being a Crayola. I mean, for what they are. But look at this color combination. Is that not beautiful? Let's come back in here and add a little bit of our darkest color. What was this one? Raspberry. And I just want to put a little bit up in here. And then I'm going to come back with my red, and I'm going to pull that down. But I don't want to add too much dark in this one, because I want to be able to fit my gorgeous highlight colors in there. And then I want to leave that little bit of space open for this amazing Atomic Tangerine. Oh my gosh. Look at that. I have been coloring with these pencils over the past few days. I must say, I really do love them. And I put off so long buying these because I was like, they're Crayolas, why do I want that? But so many of you have requested for so long that I bring some videos to my channel using the Crayola pencils. And I thought, what better opportunity to do that since I was going to start adding to my adult coloring for beginners series. And you guys know with that series, I want to make sure that I'm always using budget-friendly pencils, because I really believe, really truly believe that you don't have to have expensive pencils to create something beautiful. And a lot of us can't afford expensive pencils. Oh, these colors together, I am just loving them. I like to use my Prismacolor white to blend my colors together or add highlights or what have you. You can see that they are blending together perfectly fine, especially in this book. I don't need to have the white Prismacolor. I just like to use it. So if you don't have one, it's really not that big of a deal. You can see that they are blending together fairly well. I mean, it's not going to be like a Prismacolor where they're going to blend just like a Prismacolor. You're not going to be able to lay as many layers down, so you need to get your colors down with very light layers when you're using these. Because you guys that have seen my Prismacolor tutorials, you know that I could lay down layer after layer after layer and really just make things absolutely pop off the page. But you're not generally going to get the same effect with these, but they are still a really good pencil, especially for a beginner. And if you're just a beginner and you're picking up pencils and you want to learn, you know, and just kind of figure out if colored pencils are for you and if you enjoy them, then don't run out and buy something really expensive right away. Make sure that you enjoy using colored pencils and taking the time to actually enjoy them. They do take some time to lay down on the paper and get the effect that you really want when you're using them. I think this one I want to add a lot in here. Now I'm going to come back with my neon. And then I'm going to come back with my amazing highlight color, and I'm going to just pull this through, and I'm purposely leaving a little bit of white in there. If you guys have seen my previous videos where I talk about using the white of the paper to kind of help you out and create those highlights, if you notice, I left some white all up in here, and I left some white here, and then I left a little white right here. And I've noticed that it works better, like, I don't know, some of my, like if I'm using my Prismacolors, I'll go through and I'll lay all of my lighter shades down first, because they just work better that way, and the more pigment you get down on the paper, it makes them much easier to blend. And I know that I could apply a lot of layers. But with these, it works much better if you apply the darkest layer first, where you think you're going to want it. Now you guys see why I'm laying the darker color here, because I have lighter over here and I just want to be able to create that contrast. But yeah, these work much better if you go darker to lighter. At least that's what I found. I'm sure it's probably, you know, personal preference, but that's just how I have enjoyed using them. Those of you that have the Spring Hill paper, because you like to print your coloring pages out, they work beautifully on that paper. Now see, I'm thinking I have to go back up here and just create a few more shadows. This atomic, what was it called? Atomic Tangerine. This goes down so smoothly and just really blends everything together nicely. It's really kind of surprising. And with our second color, our red, this red, I'm just really surprised at how pigmented it is. This is my Fiery Rose. And the other good thing about these is they will hold a point for quite a while. Oh my gosh, what do y'all think of our fluorescent looking butterfly? You have to let me know down in the comments what you think of this color combination I put together. I am loving it so much. This part of the wing, I think I'm just gonna put it on both sides. You know, I'm pulling it together with my red. And I want to leave all this open up here, and I think I want to drag a little bit of red up in here because this one goes down. This lays down so nicely, this color. And it just right there created that, or separated the two places on the wing like I had wanted it to. So let me come back and pull these together. Look how they blend though on this paper. And I'm going to add this right over it just to brighten everything up. And I want to actually leave this little bit of space right here white. And I think I want to add a little bit more red down in here. Oh, I love how this is looking. This is my red. I kind of skipped my darker color this time. Let me just come in here and go over that a little bit. And then let me pull it together with my fluorescent color. Now see what I did there? I probably pushed just a little bit too hard with these. That's what I was saying earlier. If you go very lightly, I'm going to come back and try to kind of pull some of this through by going over it a little lighter. But you have to go very lightly with these pencils, and that's how you get them to blend together nicely. You don't need to put a whole lot of pressure. I need to separate these two areas here, so I'm going to come in here with more red. And I'm not pushing hard at all, but you can see how that is just creating that separation there as I just continue to keep going over it with very light layers. And I have noticed another trick with these, and that is using the grays. There's only a couple grays available in this set, but the grays really work well for creating more shadows. Okay, so this is my red, and I'm going to come down here. go ahead and put some here as well. And then I'm going to use my darkest color to just kind of darken up these smaller spaces. Now I'm going to come back with my highlight color, or my neon color actually, because I'm using the other one for my highlight color. Oh, look at that color! Oh my goodness. That color is so pretty. Okay, so let's see how we're going to do this one. Oh my gosh, when you lay this color over the other colors, look at what it does. Turned you around a little bit just to make sure that I don't put my hand in the way. I hate when I'm sitting here editing a video and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm like yelling at myself, move your hand, move your hand. It's so easy when you're trying to film and color at the same time to accidentally put your hand in the way so that people can't see exactly what you're doing. I've had to change the way I color so much since doing YouTube. I think I want a lot more of the highlight in this one, or the neon, I mean. And then we're going to come in with the highlight color and really make this pop. Wow. So you can tell in some of the areas where I've laid some of the colors where I've had a heavier hand. And I do have a heavy hand when I color. I think it's something that a lot of us struggle with. And it's something that is just learned over time, that you really just can't be heavy-handed. And one of the things when you're learning how to blend your pencils together and you want the colors to blend, being heavy-handed doesn't help at all, especially if you're working on good quality paper, because all you're going to do is damage the tooth of the paper, and then you are not going to be able to get any more pigment down on the page because the tooth has been damaged. And you want to make sure you keep that tooth there until the very end when you're ready to come back and bring all the colors together. And see there, I put the darkest one over the second darkest, or over my red. And I mean, you can do it either way. You just have to make sure that you don't push too heavy. Because see, that worked there as well. And look how pretty that blended together. Now let's come back in with this. Oh, so pretty. And I think I want to add a little more red in this corner. This red, I think, is even more vibrant than that color that should be a darker shade. But I think I might use my red to come back and add a little more shading in all of the other areas, or a little more shadows actually in the other areas. So let's go ahead and come in here with this. And let me add a little bit of red. I'm just going to go in a circular motion to just kind of pull some of this through. Now my neon color. And then my highlight. And again, I'm leaving a little bit of white in there. I'm not pushing too hard because I knew that I wanted to come back and add a little bit more of this darker shade. Again, this is the raspberry. And I'm adding a lot more darkness in here just to kind of separate this section from this one. And then I'm going to come back with my red. So are you guys starting to see that you don't need to spend a lot of money on pencils? I mean, yes, I love my Prismacolors. They will always be my favorites. But if you can't afford Prismacolors, there are other options out there. And if you go back and you look at my channel, I've showed you so many other options. I've done videos with the Castle Arts. I have done videos with my Artezas. My whole entire adult coloring for beginner series is all with my Arteza pencils, and those I just really love. I'm just trying to add more red here just to kind of make it look like it's popping off the page in certain areas, because this red goes down so nicely and it's still, the paper's still taking some layers. So this is the color I'm going to use to add in those shadows rather than using the darker color, the raspberry. Oh my goodness, look how pretty that is. I am going to color the other half of this butterfly, but I'm going to speed that part up and do it to music. So this way you guys can just watch it really quickly all come to life and pop off the page. color the center of the butterfly. And I went and pulled in a brown. Let me see what this is called. This one's called Cocoa. And I'm going to use that one for shadows on the outside, but I'm going to try to keep the colors the same as we move in the inside. And I want to make sure that there is a good enough highlight there in the center as well. So let's go ahead and start with our, raspberry and put a little bit of that over here on this edge. And just laying it down very, very lightly. And I'm going to come in here and do the same thing down here. And then I'm going to bring in my cocoa. And I'm going to really define that and create much more of a shadow there. I have found with these pencils that when you want to add shadows and make areas darker, if you just bring in another color, like for instance, if I'm using blues and such, I will bring in a dark gray and they work very well. And like with this one, how I'm using the reddish tones, I decided to bring in a bit of brown and it works really well. If you do this and you come in with a brown color and you're trying to create more shadows like I'm doing, and you realize it may not be dark enough, I have also found with these pencils that the black is really wonderful. So if I wanted to make it a little, or create a little bit more shadow, and this was not working, then I would grab my black pencil and create even more of a shadow. So we got that laid down. Let's go ahead and come in with our bright color, our neon. And then let's add a little bit of a highlight in there. And I didn't do my neon down here. And that really just brightens things up when you do that as well. I really think I need a little bit of white highlight in there. Let me go ahead and grab my black pencil. I'm going to go ahead and sharpen it on camera because I want you all to be able to hear what I was talking about when I said you could really tell the difference when you're sharpening one of these. But see how much harder I have to push to be able to turn the wheel here. But it does give it a nice, beautiful, sharp point. I did have to, strain a lot more to be able to turn it because the wood is quite a bit harder than if you were doing something like a Prismacolor or another artist grade type pencil. But I don't think it's going to damage your pencil sharpener. This Dull 133 is a pretty great sharpener. Now I'm just coming in here very, very lightly with this black. And I'm just creating a little bit more shadow in this area. And I think that looks really good. I think that we should probably put a little bit over here. And I'm going to come back in with my cocoa on this side and kind of blend that out just a little. Don't ever leave black. If you use your black, don't ever leave your black to just lay flat. I mean, you don't want to do that with any color, but especially the black, because you don't want to just leave black lines on your coloring. You're trying to create depth. And if I wanted to, I may come back and do this later, but I don't want to make the video too long. But I may come back with my black or my cocoa and actually add a few more shadows. I found with these pencils that if you bring in the other colors and you try to create shadows with the other colors, it really intensifies the way that it looks. But I don't want to do too much of that now. I want to continue with the butterfly and kind of finish it up. But I wanted the head of the butterfly to be really vibrant. So let me go ahead and lay my fluorescent down first. And then just a little bit of red. And then where is my cocoa? Okay, so this is my cocoa, and I'm just gonna add a tiny bit here. And I think that looks really good. Now, what do you think of the antennas? I think that we should have some really bright, beautiful antennas. So I got my fluorescent color here. And I'm going to go ahead and just color these in. And of course, I'm going to have to add a little something to it. Let me try my red. Look at the difference. See if I just add a little bit of that red at the tips of the antennas. It really just makes it stand out that much more. I love the way this red lays down. And then let me go back in with my cocoa and just very lightly at the tip add a little bit more. And I'm really not sure what color to color those eyes. Let's go ahead and do this bright, bright color. Now you guys know what I'm gonna do with those little dots on the wings, right? We are going to finish the butterfly off with some stickles. And I picked this color because I thought this would be really pretty up against what we got going on here with these reds and purplish reds, and then that beautiful, beautiful neon, and then the highlights. So let's go ahead and add this and see what it looks like. We're just going to do it just where the dots are, so we're not going to use many stickles in this one, but you guys know I always have to add my stickles at the end. Oh yes, that color looks gorgeous. Oh, how pretty. And that is our butterfly. I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. You'll have to let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you're interested in getting yourself the 120 set of Crayolas, I highly recommend them. I mean, for what you're going to pay, $22 or something, I think I paid for them, you're really getting a decent pencil. And if you like what the artwork looks like in this book, let me zoom out just a little bit so you can see it. But this is Maria Troll's Nightfall book, and all the artwork is just like a lot of butterflies and flowers, and she's got some houses and some different things in here, but it's a really beautiful book. It's one of my favorites. I will have all the links down in the description below for anything that you've seen in this video. My favorite place to purchase stickles. I'll have the link for the 120 Crayola as well as this gorgeous coloring book. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one. Happy coloring. Bye.